cases.
Most locally, 2 people in Broome County are being tested for the coronavirus. Those residents recently returned from travel to China and went to medical facilities complaining of respiratory illness. Dr. James Saperstone tells News 10 the seriousness of this virus shouldn't be taken lightly.
It's a problem because no one has immunity to this virus.
But here in the capital region, he doesn't necessarily think wearing a surgical mask over your face will do anything for you.
It's kind of fruitless to wear a mask unless you're in an area where it is in China and you need to wear a mask.
And you'll probably have trouble finding one to begin with. 2 pharmacies right across the street from one another in Albany are both out of stock. A spokesperson for CVS telling me they're working with their suppliers to meet the demand, and that may cause shortages at some stores. And there were only a couple of boxes left at Mara's in Cohoes. The pharmacy's president, John McDonald, tells us for some people, it's more of a psychological precaution.
A lot of people feel more comfortable with them. If anything, it kind of sends the message not to get too close to individuals. I mean, if you look at the Department of Health guidelines that they're putting out for the coronavirus, it's very similar to what they do than a typical flu.
And the symptoms are similar too. But at this point, experts say if you haven't been to China, you probably have the flu or a common cold.
Now, Pittsburgh's sister city relationship with Chinese city Wuhan spans nearly 4 decades and 6 mayors. Now, Mayor Bill Peduto is asking local health systems to help Pittsburgh's sister city deal with the impact of coronavirus. The mayor expects this help would focus on supplies.
I think over the next 2 days, we should be able to have a care package that has been put together. What are we doing if there may not be an outbreak but a scare, where people that are just feeling the symptoms of a cold would start coming into the city and to the hospitals? How are we preparing for either of those scenarios?
Wuhan is one of China's biggest cities with a population of over 11 million people. The coronavirus outbreak is believed to have started in that city. And health officials are investigating a possible case in Philadelphia. It involves a Chinese exchange student at the city's William Penn Charter School. Officials say he started feeling ill days after arriving from China last Tuesday. On his way to the U.S., he changed flights in the city of Wuhan, ground zero for the virus. Health officials are still waiting for his test results, but they say he's already feeling better, and they say the risk to other Philadelphians is low. However, some exchange students at nearby colleges are still cautious. And at last night's Elmira City Council meeting, they approved the proposal for the 2020 operating and capital budgets for the city. That's all according to those city officials. The council held a special meeting last night to approve the fiscal plan. The city manager unveiling the plan back in November. Property owners will now see slight increase in their taxes this year, which city officials say is due to the rising health insurance costs. And the City Council also approved an ordinance discontinuing and abandoning the city rights of way of Gates Place and portions of Hibbard Place. By doing this, it paves the way for the proposed housing project for LECOM students. A major developer is seeking to build a 90-unit market-rate apartment building across the street from the new Lake Erie College of Osteopathic Medicine campus, also known as LECOM, here in Elmira. And today, Days of Our Lives will be airing at 1 p.m. on WETM2, and it'll be also airing again at 3 a.m. on regular WETM. And coming up on 18 News at noon, as the deadly virus is spreading, multiple cities in China are under lockdown, and we'll have all your national roundup news coming up.
A cloudy day today. We are still tracking a few potential showers this afternoon, but most of us are staying dry with temperatures on the chillier side, mid to lower 30s for your afternoon. I'll have more on sunshine, though, returning in your forecast and slightly warmer temperatures straight ahead.
You're watching 18 News at Noon.
Welcome back. And the number of deaths are increasing as tens of millions of Chinese people are on lockdown due to the Wuhan coronavirus. And more than 4,500 cases are confirmed in that country alone. But the disease is spreading elsewhere, including the U.S. And John Lawrence reports.
China says it's sparing no effort to curb the Wuhan coronavirus. That includes putting partial or full lockdowns into effect.
The idea of shutting down several cities is an unprecedented attempt to have a curtailment of an outbreak.
There are more than 4,500 confirmed cases in China with dozens of deaths, and the virus is spreading elsewhere.
We have sustained transmission from person to person. That has to be interrupted, or this can get out of control even more than it is.
There are at least 5 confirmed cases in the U.S., but the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention expects that number will rise. This week, the Virginia Department of Health investigated 3 potential cases, 2 of which were negative. Results for the third are expected later this week.
We're very fortunate because we have a unique pathogens unit, the only one in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Health officials say they can't detect the virus simply from the symptoms, which is why a patient's recent travel history is an important factor.
So people who have arrived from Wuhan, China, that specific information combined with their symptoms is how we identify who needs to be evaluated further.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
And on to some political news. President Donald Trump's legal team making their first full day of arguments in his Senate impeachment trial. But to talk off the Senate floor surrounding a book manuscript by former National Security Advisor John Bolton, escalating Democrats' calls for his testimony. And Kara Kafa reports from Washington.
President Trump's legal team turning their attention to the Constitution.
Purely non-criminal conduct, including abuse of power and obstruction of Congress, are outside the range of impeachable offenses.
And Joe Biden and his son Hunter, who served on the board of a Ukrainian gas company.
The House managers talked about the Bidens of Burisma 400 times, but they never gave you the full picture.
Democrats dismissing the Biden arguments as a distraction.
This is clearly an attempt to feed red meat to their base, but also red herrings to take us away from the central issue.
But as they lay out their case, a new revelation. The New York Times reporting, citing multiple sources, that in a draft of his upcoming book, John Bolton writes Trump wanted to continue withholding military aid to Ukraine until the country helped with investigations into Democrats, including the Bidens. The Democrats using the manuscript information to continue their call for the former National Security Advisor and others to testify.
John Bolton has direct, relevant information.
Republican reaction ranging from agreement to dismissal.
I think it's increasingly likely that other Republicans will join those of us who think we should hear from John Bolton.
At the end of the day, it doesn't impact the legal issue before this Senate.
A White House official says President Trump has watched parts of the trial and has been pleased at the performance of his legal team.